for growth. We'll get more into that. Ronaldo, thank you, Greg. Ronaldo, come, let's see. I don't know what I do here. Chat. Oh, okay, go ahead. Oh, you chatted with
Dr. Jim.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. Yes.
Hello, all of you, everyone. If I may, I have two questions to ask. First,
Okay.
I want to say that I completely agree with what you said about first finding the right niche of customers for your business to prosper. And now the first question is, what are the three main principles or cores of quantum economics that you have already talked about?
I've alluded to many times. Okay. Yes. And these are also what Amit teaches as part of his course in quantum activism. So some of you may have taken that course. Some of you may not have taken that course, but we're talking about first principle, Renato, is non-locality. Non-locality, that we are beyond space-time coordinates when we take a look at a quantum model. Consciousness is non-local. Okay, it is a realm beyond space and time, beyond the limitations of space and time. That's the first principle. Second principle is what's called tangled hierarchy. Tangled hierarchy. So tangled hierarchy is, I can look, let's say you and I are looking at each other, and I could look at you as a discrete individual, which you are, but I could look at you as completely separate from me, you know, I can try to reach out to you and communicate with you. My contention has always been that the model that says you are completely separate from me and I am completely separate from you, how then do we ever connect to communicate? So one of that model on its head says, well, we're already connected from the get-go, and we're already connected through consciousness with a capital C. We're already connected. And as I mentioned last time, some of my work, my doctoral work, was on Heidegger, where I brought out his concept of Mitsein. In other words, Mitsein, being with you is a different way for saying tangled hierarchy. Being with you from the beginning is more primary than I exist, you exist, and then we connect somehow. That somehow is the problem. If we're already connected to God, we're already connected to consciousness, and we are correlated through consciousness, then you and I are already in tangled hierarchy. The experiments that are always used, the example that Amit uses, even if we're at opposite ends of the universe, if we're correlated and I stub my toe, you're going to feel it on your toe immediately, without signals. Without signals. I don't need to signal you. No signal. There is no signal between Act A and Act B, and that reflects how tangled we are as a hierarchy. Okay. The third principle, quantum economics or quantum physics, is I see here, I'm getting a message, your internet's unstable. I hope you can still hear me, but is discontinuity. Discontinuity is consciousness emerging in a creative act. Okay, emerging in a creative act. So it's the aha experience. It's the aha experience. You're working on a problem and you can't find the answer. You can't find the answer. All of a sudden it comes to you. It breaks that flow of non-answer, or that flow of experience that you have is disrupted, is discontinuous and discontinuous, and that answer, that aha to the problem emerges. I like to use as a symbol. I like to use a humpback whale as a symbol. and that is the ocean. The ocean is a continuous, nice continuous, you can call that the energy flow of the ocean, representing the flow, and all of a sudden the humpback jumps up. That's a great image for discontinuity. That's a great image for breaking that flow with creativity. That's how I use it. There's a whole lot more that Amit goes into in his book Quantum Economics, and a whole lot more in the quantum activism certification program. But essentially, that explains the three core principles. So if I'm looking at, I hope you can still hear me. So just one other example relative to business. If I'm looking at identifying your ideal client, I want to know what that means from a local paradigm and a tangled hierarchy paradigm. If you and I are separate, I can do anything to you. I can manipulate you. I can try to steal from you. I don't care. I'm going to win, and it has no bearing on me, such as is the belief. From a tangled hierarchy point of view, we have a whole different relationship that can be spun out of that. And you can see that your ideal client, that you are a part of that ideal client. You and the ideal client, quote unquote, are not separate. You're two sides of the same coin in tangled hierarchy. And if we come from that perspective, our behavior is a whole lot different. I hope you heard something.
Okay.
Well, if you get, Terry, you send the recordings, yes? Okay, so you'll get, even though you might not hear it now, you'll hear it in the recording, yes? You'll hear me pontificating on that theme in the recording that Terry's going to send you. But thank you, Ronaldo. Anybody else?
Okay. And
Go
now
ahead,
I have
Ronaldo.
a second. I have a second question, please.
Go ahead.
The second question, I actually already asked to Professor Goswami and Dr. Valentina, and now I would like to know your opinion. I believe that the subject of quantum economics and vital energy has a very strong relationship with the subject of my synopsis. Okay. According to quantum economics, in your opinion, I would like to know how I could measure the change in the vital energy of 5 bodies before and after the training and treatment program I developed. Please.
Again, you want me to answer that after Dr. Goswami and Dr. Anasar have answered that. Here's my wheelhouse, as opposed to measuring that, because I cannot add anything to what they would have answered to you. But here's what I can do, and here's where I come from, and my perspective is the way to transform a normal product, a product that is devoid of, well, let's take a drug. Let's take a drug. Take a drug, a pharmaceutical drug, okay, that pretty much has been stripped, or at least we are of the belief it's been stripped of vital energy, right? It's been stripped. It purports to synthesize the active ingredients to a plant or other natural substance, herb, what have you, and is able to manufacture that in bulk. And it's our contention, or at least my contention, that the process of doing that strips the product of vital energy. So one of your goals is to find a way. And so my answer is to help you find a way. I don't know the way. My answer, though, is to help you find a way to reinsert vital energy into your products, into your modus operandi as a wellness professional or as a healer.
Perfect.
Okay, yeah. And then, but it would be whatever Amit and Valentina told you with regard to that measurement, I mean, go with their answer. If I'm coaching somebody, that's not my area of expertise, and I'm not going to step out of line. But I do know, and I can say that one of the ways to convert that business, one of the ways to become quantum, is to pay attention to the vital energy and infusing. As a matter of fact, you're going to see, I think you're going to see later in this book, later in the Business Person's Guide, four levels of transformation of a business and of a business product and services that that authentically change that business model into a quantum business model versus just, you know, a conventional business model. Thank you, Ronaldo.
Okay, I really appreciate. Thank you, Dr. Jim.
You're welcome. Greg, Greg, hold on a minute. Hold on a second. Okay, Greg, and then